Me on the side is none other than Mr. Faye Choudhury, the CEO of the International Federation of Certified Public Accountants. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
Well, Mr. Faye, you are on a special visit to Uganda.
Indeed.
It is a country that has often been riddled with corruption scandals involving certified public accountants. What is your visitation to Uganda all about?
So we're here because we have a program of assistance to strengthen the Ugandan Institute with DFID. So we're looking at that. We're also just talking to your various stakeholders, private sector and government officials, about how the accountancy sector is helping strengthen organizations and advance the economy. And it's been a very productive discussion, and I think it's a very well-developed accountancy profession which is making a huge contribution. Now, when you mention, a CPA having been involved in fraud, unfortunately there will always be the bad apple that spoils the barrel. Unfortunately we get, corrupt lawyers, you get corrupt politicians, you get corrupt engineers, and you get corrupt accountants. I would hope that no one will taint the whole profession with the actions of one individual, because the accountancy profession does take the issue of trust and ethics very seriously. I think we're the only profession that has a global requirement for a disciplinary measure and for a complaints procedure, and for all accountants to comply with an ethical code.
Well, Mr. Perez, does this worry you? You are at the international level when you hear national bodies of certified public accountants who subscribe to the institute often getting involved in such a kind of scandals.
But it doesn't happen just in Uganda. As I said, there are good people and there are bad people. And there are some bad people who, are well educated and members of a profession, but are just greedy. And unfortunately, that's human nature, and that's something that's got to be stopped. I think, it's not just a developing country syndrome. I think you see this kind of corruption even in advanced economies. And as I say, you see it not only with accountants, you see it in other professions as well. So I think it's unfortunate when it happens. It troubles us greatly because it undermines the trust and confidence in the profession.
The issue is that as the International Federation of Accountants, have you taken certain disciplinary measures on bodies that subscribe to you, more especially when some people get involved who are certified public accountants?
Well, we have national accounting bodies. So the institute in Ghana is a member of IFAC. If a member of the Ghana Institute does not comply with the ethical code or breaks the law, then it's for the Uganda Institute to deal with that person. And I would imagine typically they would expel that person from membership of the institute, in addition to whatever the legal authorities might do to that person for fraud and corruption.
The National Institute, let me say like this, certified public accountant of Uganda, does not prevail on specific individuals who are denting the image of the institute as the international body, IFAC.
Yeah.
I think at what point you come in?
Because we do monitor compliance with something called the Statement of Member Obligations, of which having an effective disciplinary process is one of them. So if there was a feeling that the disciplinary process wasn't working, as part of our normal quality assurance, if there was a weight of complaint that the disciplinary procedures weren't working, or then we would probably have a discussion with the institute just to why does all this arise, and take it from there. But we haven't had that situation in the past of, we've had situations where members have failed to comply with the whole suite of standards and have not taken any effect, then we would expel.
You alluded to the fact that world over, the, the world loses about $2.6 trillion to fraud and corruption. Is this something that really worries you as IFAC?
Should worry me as IFAC, it should worry you as a journalist, because this is mainly our money. Money you and I have paid in taxes. It's money that's come from the natural resources of the countries in which we live. So don't forget, public sector fraud and corruption is stealing from us. It's not stealing from the government, it's because it's our money that the government manages. So it does worry me greatly, but I think accountants can be a huge help in the fight against fraud and corruption.
I can briefly get back to some of my observation from your presentation. I do understand you say that professional accountants organizations have part economies, more especially in the last frontiers of investment, that is to say, Africa. To what extent when we are having such a kind of reports?
Well, I think you can see it's more a question of when you don't have a strong accountancy profession, what are the consequences versus if you do. If you don't have a strong accountancy profession, you just take natural resources and extractive industries. That became a huge issue because money was being taken out of the country and no one quite knew how much or where it was going and how much the government was getting, etc. That's just one example. So the accountancy profession is very important to provide a stable platform so that growth can take place.
Thanks for joining me, Mr. Choudhury.
Thank you very much.